This video is on behalf of Opawica Explorations. What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Blake Morgan, CEO of Opawica Exploration. Pleasure to have you back on, Blake. It's been a while.
It's a pleasure to see you again. It's been what, a year or two now at least, so it's good to get back on and have a chat to yourself and your listeners.
Definitely. So tell us, what has the company been up to? Tell us everything about what you guys have been doing.
Yeah, so look, we've been pretty quiet over the last 2 years. The gold market's been quite terrible. So, as a CEO, I had to navigate that space. I didn't want to go too hard over the last 2 years when, companies just weren't getting that reception. Now, what that's been beneficial for us for is we've now had 2 years to sit and review data upon data upon data. So, since 2021, we've spent over $5 million on our 2 projects. So we had a wealth of data. So it's given us time to sort of go through it. We're going to have a bunch of news coming out soon, new presentations, new websites, 3D modeling. We've got a great understanding now how the mineralization on these properties work. So as we proceed into the next drill program, we're very confident about getting some results.
Exciting times ahead, especially market timing. So we see your neighbor's property at YBO Resources has been bought out by an Australian group for 25 million. What's your thoughts on that?
Look, it just shows the potential of the area. So, next to the Bazooka property is obviously the YBO Resources asset, 25 million buyout from an Australian group. And in Australia, the mining industry is hot. That's why you're seeing so many Australian groups come in, buying out Canadian companies. And that's why I'm currently back in Australia talking to these groups. We've got the Wasamac, which is, a $2 million asset right next to us. So, we've either got majors that are turning into mines next to us, or we've got the early stage stuff like next door at YBO being bought out for 25 million. And the Bazooka property is very similar. We've got a deposit there. We're hitting some serious high grade stuff. But the difference is we're not really looking to get out of the Bazooka just yet. We want to build this up, try and get a couple of million ounces on the property, and then sell it off to a major. But this opens the door to a few ideas. So it's fantastic for the region.
Definitely. So what's your future plans for the Bazooka property?
Yeah, well, we're going to get quite aggressive soon. So like I mentioned, on the 2 properties, the Bazooka and the Arrowhead, we spent over $5 million in 2021. And the last 2 years, we've taken our time and developed these models. And we've come up with now a method to hit this high grade zone. We know how the structures work. So basically what we're going to see is drill permits, drill contractors, drill targets, and then an aggressive drill program. So that's the plan with the Bazooka. And we're going to explore a little bit more of it because we've only looked in around 10 to 15% of the property. We've still got 85% to go down on the western side. So we're going to continue to drill the really, really high grade stuff that we know is there, expand on that resource, but also start to look further down the fault. We've got 7 kilometers of the Cadillac-Larder fault zone. We've only looked at around 1 kilometer. So we know based on next door and all the other properties that deposits lay all the way down this system. So we'll continually go down, hopefully find some more high grade stuff and turn this into, a major asset.
Awesome. So now let's talk about the Arrowhead property, future plans for that.
Very similar. So, like I mentioned, we've spent a wealth of cash on it recently. With our seismic survey, downhole geophysics, airborne geophysics, we've done our first ever drill program on it, where we did hit some really good numbers, up to 18 grams per ton of gold. We got another intercept, a bit lower grade, but 18 meters at around 2 grams, which is fantastic. So it's a good first program, considering it was a small one. Now we've taken all of that knowledge, plus all the data from the work I just mentioned, and, we put it together, and we should have some drill targets coming out very soon. We should have some drill permits started to happen. And, we're looking to try and get back there this year and start drilling this year. So we've got a bit to squeeze in the next month to 2 months. But, it's a very high prospective property. We've got 7 active mines within 7 kilometers of us. We've got Agnico Eagle drilling holes basically on our border. So yeah, we're gonna attack this property pretty hard and try and turn it into, a larger multi-million ounce asset.
So with that being said, we've seen you've been buying large amounts of shares through your SETI reports. Can you tell us a bit more about that? What's going on there?
Yeah, so I see an opportunity with the company. I think we're extremely undervalued. And that's why I'm buying as much stock as I possibly can. Obviously, there's limitations to how much I can get. But I'm there buying away, and you want to see an active CEO. If you're investing in a company and you can have a look through SETI filing, if the CEO doesn't own shares, I think there's a problem. So, I've got millions of shares of Opawica. That's how committed I am to the company. I'll continue to buy things the best I can. But that's the reason I see a huge opportunity here. I think, we're grossly undervalued, and, I'm looking forward to picking up as many as I possibly can.
So we've seen your IR agreement was approved. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? What are your plans for that?
Yeah, well, it's very simple. Due to market conditions, the game's changed somewhat. You need to be doing some sort of IR, otherwise, you're just not getting the reach. So, we have a decent cash position. We've already prepaid our IRs, been paid off. It's been approved by the exchange. And it's going to really assist us to get us moving in the right direction. Hopefully, we can get the share price moving north. We could raise some more capital with less dilution. We get a larger audience to have a look at the company that haven't heard of it before. So that's the main goal. Push this out to all the mining groups, all the gold bugs, and really get a lot of eyes on the property and the assets itself, and then the company. So, we think it's a very important part. We'll do the work, we'll have some IR, we'll get to drilling, and it all coincides into, a bit of an explosion, we're hoping. So, that's why we've got that in place.
Definitely. I think times have changed now. Like last 2 years, very difficult, especially communication and whatnot. The market wasn't very receptive, but I think now is a time to start to do that. So I agree with that. And finally, let's talk gold price. So gold price has soared to an all-time high, which is awesome to see for this industry as a whole. I've covered it for many years since the start of Departures Capital. What are your thoughts on the gold market in general? Where do we go from here?
Look, it's looking good. I think 3,000 USD is around the corner. It's exciting in Australia. It's nearly $4,000 an ounce over here. And then that's the reason I'm here, because you've got all the Australian companies coming in now, buying out the Canadian companies. The mining industry over here is absolutely flying, especially gold. And, Canada's now catching back up. We've got a huge push in the gold price. We've got, issues worldwide, issues with the American dollar. I suspect the gold price will continue to push. And now you're getting these large broker firms and retail market is starting to look back into mining stocks, so capital's quite easy to raise again. You've got people buying in the market, and that's why we're making our push now. The time's right. We'll get out. We'll start doing some drilling, hopefully hit some big numbers. Hopefully the gold price continues to go north, and it all combines into, a big pow, pretty much. We've got the IR in place. We're in one of the most prolific gold-bearing regions in the world. We're surrounded by the biggest gold players in the world. We have road access. We have power access. So everything for the company is perfect. And then you can add in the gold price, and it's just looking to be a beautiful combination. So I think it's going to be a good 6 to 12 months in the gold space. And I suggest everyone should have a look at as many companies as they can during this period.
Definitely, Blake. Well, it's been a pleasure. Always enjoy having you on, and I look forward to tracking and monitoring the progress of OPW. Best of luck, and look forward to having you back on for more updates.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and I look forward again to talking to you sometime soon.